What's up, everybody? Time for some more rSpace. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister to stop using nonsense baby talk? Really need Reddit for this one, as I genuinely don't know if I'm the a-hole. Throwaway, as my sister has Reddit. All fake names. My 34 female sister, 27 female, Alana, has always been somewhat infantile, but in the last year, she stepped up her game in the category of nonsense baby talk. She was seeing a guy last year who I think liked it, which might be why, but it's literally every second sentence, and it's driving me nuts. Some examples. She's arrived at my house and asked if we could go put some juice in the fridge. Turned out, she wanted to put juice in my fridge. On seeing my 6-month-old crying, she loudly said, "Oh no, don't cry." And she's asked if we have any ice in the fridge. Ice in the freezer. You get the idea. It's endless and very annoying. My older sister, 35 female, Este, and I have chosen to combat this by pretending we don't know what she means until she says it correctly. My mom does nothing about it, as Alana is the youngest and always babied a bit. Mom has even translated the baby talk for me and Este when we are pretending we don't understand. Anyway, yesterday Alana was at my house for my birthday, and the baby talk was dialed up to 100. We had a giant cookie for a cake, and later in the evening Alana handed my husband a plate and requested a slice of the cake of cooks. A slice of cookie cake. This was too much for me, and I told her to stop with the made-up words. She replied, "But it's cute." I informed her it was not cute, and asked her to cut it out. She refused and told me, "I can do whatever I want, and nobody can tell me what to do." Or something along those lines, to which my mom agreed. I then said that she had to make sure not to use the nonsense words in front of my 6-month-old, as I wanted her learning the right words, which was really just an excuse to stop her from doing it. Alana pointed out that Este uses made-up words with her 2-year-old. Este says tummer instead of tummy, but that's the only one she could think of. I said that what Est does with her daughter is irrelevant because I'm the one asking Alana to stop. That bit might not be relevant, but I'm adding for full transparency. When my husband reappeared with the cake, I refused to let Alana have it until she asked for it properly. She gave me a death glare, but did ask properly, albeit sulkily. My am I the a-hole is twofold here. Was I the a-hole to withhold cake until she asked for it like a grown-up? And was I the a-hole for telling her to stop talking nonsense in the first place? She is, after all, a fully grown adult who can do what she likes. But I honestly can't tell you how irritating it is to hear nonsense talk all the time from a 27-year-old woman, and she had dialed it up to 11 for some reason. My mom agreed with Alana, obviously. Este wasn't there, but agreed with me when she was told what happened, as did my husband. I'd love to put my foot down and tell her to cut it out every time, but I need the judgment on Reddit for this, as I don't know if I'm blinded to my unreasonableness by how annoying it is. Update. As I said before, Este and I feel incredibly vindicated by the judgment and the comments in general, as we are always being told by our mom not to be hard on poor Alana. It's got to the point where we don't rip into her like we do each other, which is a shame, as we are English and our primary love language is insults and sarcasm. Anyway, I digress. I got my chance to confront Alana on Saturday evening, when Alana and my mom came over for another round of Jackbox, and Alana asked me if I liked her new jump. I replied, "Your what?" And she leveled with me with a slightly smug, unblinking stare. My mom jumps in and tells me, "She means her jumper." And Alana interrupts her saying, "She knows what I mean. I can say jump if I like." Clearly, she had decided to double down, but I had my Reddit voices in my ear, and I was prepared. I asked her to stop talking in nonsense words, and she told me that it's a thing that all millennials do, and I need to get over it, and said that I'd do it too, and gave Prozac as an example, Prosecco. I disagreed, then told her that I'd been Googling it, translation, I've asked a bunch of Redditors, and that it had made me wonder if she was doing it as a reaction to no longer being the youngest in the family. She was very affronted by this, telling me she had been doing it way longer than the arrival of the kids. I said that she had been doing it much more recently. My mom agreed with me. Alana looked livid at this and kept spluttering that it wasn't the case. I then said that in my Google, Reddit research, I'd read that it could be a comfort for anxiety, and asked her if this is what it was. She seemed very annoyed about my trying to diagnose her or make it into an issue. In my opinion, she was trying to be cute and funny, and I was ruining it with my concern for her well-being. She told me that I was very weird for thinking it's a big deal and for Googling it, and I said I was doing this because she's far too old to be talking like a Yoda baby. I then said that if it wasn't a reaction to anxiety, could she please stop, because it annoys me a lot and I don't want to be annoyed when I hang out with her. Full props to Reddit for my phrasing here. She stared at me in silence for a good 20 seconds. I could see her brain whirring as she tried to calculate a reason to say no, but in the end, my mom quietly interjected with, "That's a reasonable request, isn't it?" And Alana gave a hefty, defeated sigh and said, "Fine." I said, "Thank you," and we swiftly moved on. I am hopeful that's the end of it. I am so glad I turned to Reddit for this one, as all the advice worked perfectly, and I'm going to try and keep it in mind with my interactions with Alana going forward. Time for some responses. The first one from Full Worldliness 1480. I am laughing here. Just the mental image of her sitting there trying to figure out a way of continuing this asshattery while not proclaiming she's in need of therapy. Next thought from Crazy Fan Geek. As a millennial, born in 1989, I can assure you that I don't baby talk and feel slightly offended at the suggestion that we all do it. But ripping into my younger brother and sister with sarcasm and insults, I fully understand it's definitely our English love language. Next, we've got a thought from Arumphalis. Me, a millennial, she does not speak for me. We millennials are a tired, broken, and debt-ridden people, but we don't do that. Great work, OP. You did good. Your sister is weird as heck, though. And one more comment from Slow Bumblebee 8609. Like a freaking boss, you outmaneuvered better than Roadrunner outmaneuvers Coyote. Congrats! Time for the next story. Would I be the a-hole for saying no to my boyfriend's dream apartment? First time posting here, and I'm almost not a native speaker. Sorry if I make mistakes. Me, female 22, and my boyfriend, male 22, are moving in together. We have been apartment hunting this week and found a couple suitable options. There is one apartment I really like, apartment 1, that is around 110 square meters, and rent would be around $1,400. This apartment is located in a nice neighborhood of around 10 blocks from my parents' house. I like this apartment because the price is good for the size and location, and it's also quite pretty. My boyfriend, however, prefers another apartment, apartment 2, that is around 140 square meters and rent around $1,600. The apartment is in the dead center of the city we live in and literally next door to his parents' house. As in, if we sit at the balcony and look to the right, we can see and talk to his parents in their own balcony. My issue with apartment 2 is that it's not very nice looking on the inside. It's an older building, so the tiles in the kitchen and bathrooms are very outdated and worn. It comes with some furniture even my grandma would have gotten rid of already. The kitchen is all mismatched, as if it was fixed by someone who took apart another kitchen and reused the parts. It's overall not a nice looking apartment, and for me to be happy in it, I would need to change pretty much everything. I'm an interior designer. The look of my own apartment is important to me, but that would also be quite expensive to do. And there are certain things we wouldn't be able to change because it's a rental and the owner would not allow it. But my boyfriend still really wants it because it's at the very center of the city, close to where he does language classes and a big supermarket he likes to shop at. And apartment 1 would be around 1 or 2 kilometers away from these things. He uses his mom's car, but she said he can't take it if he moves out, even if she does not drive. Apartment 1 is not available for visitation yet, and apartment 2 needs to be rented today or tomorrow. I need an answer soon, and I'm afraid I'm being unreasonable if I say no. Update. Hello Reddit, I've come with an update. This is the link to the original post. Too long didn't read at the bottom. I met with my boyfriend the day I made the post, and we had a very long discussion about the whole apartment situation. By the end of it, we decided to go with apartment 1. I must point out that at this point we had not seen any of the apartments in person, only through pictures. We had a scheduled visit to apartment 2 the next morning, and we didn't know when apartment 1 would be available for visitation. The morning comes and we visit apartment 2. We didn't want to cancel last minute, and it was not as bad as the pictures. My boyfriend absolutely loved it. I was pleasantly surprised by it. After we leave, I get a call that apartment 1 is available for visitation and we could go in immediately. So off I went and saw that one too. It was not very good. Pictures of apartments really are deceiving, y'all. It felt very small, despite it saying it was 110 square meters. The bedrooms were so tiny, our bed barely fit in the master one. Our closet and desk did not fit in the second one. Also, the balcony was over a neighbor's house, and we could fully see into their living room, which is kinda awkward. It also probably had very thin walls, as we could hear children running around and yelling as if they were in our own apartment. So we both said no to apartment 1, and ended up going with apartment 2. We had a meeting with the owner, and he assured us he would get rid of any unwanted furniture, and we were welcome to renovate any part of the apartment, and he would give us a discount on the rent to cover the costs. We are working up a contract and will most likely be signing the lease this week. We already have the keys and everything. Also, in regards to my in-laws, we sat down with them for dinner and clear boundaries were set. We will be covering the part of the balcony that overlooks theirs. They will not be getting a copy of our keys, and they are not to expect visits from us too often. I am hopeful and excited at the prospect of this apartment, and even though 98% of you guys told me to run for the hills, I have a good feeling I made the right decision. Thank you all for your time and your judgment. First judgment coming from Hecatico. Thanks for the update. It always amazes me how different a property is in person from advertised pictures. Enjoy your new home. Senior Goff SMB says, glad it worked out, OP. Look forward to the Am I the a-hole for being annoyed my boyfriend's parents are always in my apartment